ChairShot Podcast coming to you back on its regularly scheduled Sunday night time slot. I don't know about you lads, I feel like I was just talking. Hasn't been that long, is it? What was it, Tuesday, was it?
Tuesday night, yeah.
So call it a double whammy if you want. Don't call it that because it's technically that was last week, so you're not getting 2 episodes a week. We just about squeeze out one.
That's Anthony Do you see either of you see Collision?
No.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Double whammy sounds like something Anthony Bowens would say.
Yeah, I caught a bit of that
character.
promo. Yeah, we'll come to that. Yeah, we'll come to that. Yeah.
He because he has this baseball gimmick, the 5-tool player. He says things like, "I'm gonna mollywop you."
Sounds like something a gangster would say in the 50s.
Hey, she. And then Max
What you say?
Caster in the back going, "Do yeah, boys, get him real good, boys."
We will, of course, have a Dynamite and Collision review coming up shortly.
That should be Billy Gunn, not Max Caster. I ruined the joke.
It doesn't matter. I was about to ask a question. We'll save it for Collision. I haven't seen Collision, but I have some questions about Collision. That's coming up. Got a jam-packed show for you as always, my friends. We've got a Fantasy League update, including star ratings for Dynasty this past Sunday, and more debates to be had on the Fantasy League. We also have a pretty newsworthy week of AEW TV to chat about. We've got some movies, we've got TVs, we've got games, and all the other fun games along the way. Kick things off as we always do with a little bit of life guff. Apologies, by the way, if I'm snorting and sniffling. I forgot to take my nasal spray today, like a little nerd. So I'm sounding a bit congested. Because it's just, I mean, it is literally as soon as the sun comes up. It's just instant hay fever madness. So I'm feeling a bit congested, but I'm not too bad. But
you're like Chief Wiggum before it his lab explodes.
Rose through the ranks to become Chief Clancy. Yeah. I had an eventful day yesterday. I went to the venue for my matrimony later on this year. We got to do our menu tasting / picking. For anyone who doesn't know how it works, when I assume most venues are the same. The place where we're getting married, they're basically like, all right, here's like the big list of everything we do food wise. You pick 5 things a course, right? And then you come and you sample it all, and then you pick your 2 actual options you'll have on the day, right? So I went there. So myself and the to-be wife, we went along, and we didn't really ask a lot of questions ahead of time, so we don't know, like, are they going to bring us, like, if say one of the options was steak, are they going to bring us like
a steak,
a little cut each, or a steak each, or it'll be a steak cut in half, or how's it going to work? Is it? Didn't really know how it works. So we sit down in the restaurant. It's a lovely hotel. It's a lovely restaurant. The staff are so nice. And the way it works, everyone, is, again, there's 4 courses. We picked 5 options each that we had to whittle down to 2 for each course. They just brought us a full rendition of each dish all at once, and we went through the menu. So, I mean, by the end of it, and we were also sampling and testing the wine as well for the wedding. So we had, I think, a combined 15 dishes on the table and like 4 bottles of wine. If anyone didn't know what was happening and walked in, they would have thought we were doing like some kind of little fucking Henry VIII cosplay or something, because it was just wine bottles and half like legs of chicken.
It's one of those eat it all in an hour and get your wedding free.
Yeah, it was like a challenge, and I was failing. Let me tell you. I mean, it was incredible. It was one of the more indulgent experiences of my life. I'm not even a wine drinker, but I partook quite a bit of it because free.
Have you already got a deposit on this place, or is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Otherwise, you could say, I didn't like it. Sorry. I think we're going to try it elsewhere. Thank you very much.
I mean, it makes sense that it would make sense they bring you the full thing, because you're kind of previewing what it's going to be like on the day, right? So
the amount they charge.
Yeah, if on the wedding day they brought out these little slivers of steak for everybody, you go, oh, hang on.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it then made sense, because we after they brought it, we was like, well, yeah, of course they would bring it to you as it will actually be served on the day, right? They don't want to bring you like a chicken nugget on a plate.
But is it expected like wine
for the chicken nugget? Sadly, so
is it expected like a wine tasting that you You take a little chew and you spit it into a little bucket or something.
No, so there was no bucket. I was wondering if they would bring us a glass of each wine. I think it's a complimentary service. I think as a kind of you have to pick your food for your wedding. That's functional. I also think, as mentioned there, hotels not going cheap. I think it's also a little bit of a you get to have lots of food and drink just to yourself. I think that's part of the appeal of it as well. Because they would bring us the wines. They would say what it was, where it was from. She's a wine head, so it wasn't just me sitting there. Oh yeah, like I had no clue what any of it was. But they bring you that, and then they just leave you the bottle, and you just work away. Do you know what I mean? So it's.
I just want to clarify that Barry, when he said wine head, means like a fan of wine, not an alcoholic.
Not a wino. Not a wino.
A winey, not a wino.
Yeah, I have noticed lately. I don't know if it's coming back in vogue. I have seen a lot in the area of because for years, of course, you had the cider, the 2-liter bottle of cider. People walking around. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people walking around drinking out of a wine bottle lately, and I was like, I think that
that's the tariffs. That's from tariffs.
It's just like
they can't export it to America anymore, so they're just French.
Everyone's just like, it's cheaper to have the little wine than it is to go get a can of Bulmers, But yeah, no, it was. I think it's kind of functional, but it is also a little bit of a bonus is you get to go and absolutely stuff your stuff my face. I did. I mean, all the options were fantastic. I mean, there was so much stuff, and up to and including having 5 desserts. I mean, I've never been so indulgent in my fucking life.
Down from the usual 6.
Yeah. I mean, this is how indulgent it was, right? We had 5 options for desserts. One of them was a sampling tray. So that had 4 individual dessert parts to it. So we absolutely stuffed our faces. It was a really lovely day. We I think we have our options cemented, but we're going to review our notes. Literally took notes. Literally have a page of notes.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. I think we both got a little bit excited about the reality of it. It's all coming up now. But yeah, and prior to that, we got to just potter around Galway for a few hours before going to the hotel. Lovely town, lovely city.
Love Galway. Love
Galway. Oh, baby, let me tell you, I mean, Dough Bros has a fairly good reputation as a top pizza spot in Galway. They've spun off a little side project, a little pizza by the slice place called Little Bros, I believe they call it. Oh, baby, I was in heaven. Let me tell you, absolutely gorgeous, crispy and £6 a slice, but a massive slice, the size of my head. It was absolutely huge. Yeah, love Galway. Could have spent the whole day there. And I think I'm looking forward to again once the summer is in full swing, just going up to Galway and just having a pot around. It's such a nice city.
Galway is one of my favorite places in Ireland to go, for sure.
It is top notch. It really is. But yeah, that was kind of the top and bottom of my week there. Really. What about you, boyos? How has the life been this week?
I'm bloody sick again. I'm never not sick this year.
What do you need? Have you got take some multivitamins?
Which one?
That'll help.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Thousands.
All of them. Yeah, all of them. It's got all of them.
I'm taking some antihistamines. No, I don't know if they help. But
that's not going to do it.
You need to get a nice. I started having about 2 months ago gummy vitamins. So every morning I have a little strawberry gummy.
Oh, I hear you're talking vitamin CBD. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I'm waking and chewing. But I think that has helped. I haven't been sick since, so
okay.
Proves the theory.
I keep getting this bloody cough. It just
and
it was the same story as last time. I was basically fine. Go into the office, come home with a cough. Twice in a row. Maybe
is it the air conditioning? Is there air conditioning at the office? Because
it might be old dirty Sally who sits by the
Typhoid Mary. I thought it was. No,
you have to kiss her to get in.
Sally now. Oh yeah.
You have to give her a big snog upon entry is the rule.
Yeah, I mean I know it's the cliche answer, but yeah, I mean the aircon and then also just kind of like casual destruction of all our immune systems over the last 5 years.
Oh,
like that'll be a thing we tell our grandkids we used to have, like CRT TVs. Was that you used to go into a public space and not instantly get sick. But
the listeners are lucky that this is a audio medium. As I am after coughing up a big phlegm ball, spitting it into my lip.
Lovely. Well, I mean, that's great audio, though. That is great audio.
That's my life. That's my life the last 2 days. Is coughing up a big fur ball. Ugh. But in good news,
Go on.
I did get my new iPad.
Oh,
hello. On Amazon IE, my first Amazon IE purchase.
Oh, you made the switch.
Wow.
I did. I'm like TNA, crossed the line. Just make sure I know how to.
So, I mean, was there a noticeable? I mean, did you get it like next day or?
I fuck Amazon Ireland. It took like 5 days to go.
So, what was the benefit? What did you get in the switch?
It was cheaper on the Amazon. I don't know what the rules are for electronics such as these, but on the Amazon UK there was €70 of import taxes and stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
So it was cheaper, but it did not come any quicker, unfortunately. And I did sell my old broken one on adverts.ie.
I've never used that website.
For 35 quid for a broken iPad.
It's not bad. It's better than nothing, I suppose, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that was the alternative. It would just go into a drawer and never be used again. So that will take a little bit off the price of the new one. But it is nice. It doesn't have a button on it anymore. That's the thing. I still had an iPad that was old enough that it had a physical button on the front of it for like switching between apps and stuff. And now I have to come to the future, this tactile screen future where...
So what is it? You swipe up from the bottom, is it?
You swipe up from the bottom.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's going to take a week to get used to. But I'm very happy with it. The screen looks very nice. The thing with my iPad was, although it still worked very well up until the incident, it had actually reached the stage where it wouldn't update to the latest iOS version.
Oh, okay. So that's like, yeah.
iOS 18 was a jump too far. It was like 17.7.7.9. And so now I'm on the new one. It's all shiny. It all looks nice. I had to install all the apps. The fact that I still had the two working iPads meant the transfer of data from one to the other was very seamless. That was the good thing about it.
Nice.
So I got that all set up already. And I will be posting my broken one, to Galway, funnily enough, tomorrow in the post. And that is pretty much what I've been up to, Joe.
Well, they say, while the cat's away, the mice do play. Well, packed the old wife off to America on Friday. Went to Heathrow. I say took her. I got the train with her to Heathrow and then I came home. I didn't take her.
She's able to go on her own.
Yeah. God, I hate airports. God,
yeah.
Went into, she was checking her bags in, so I went into WH Smith, which is no longer going to be on the high street in the UK. They've sold that off. So
really?
They're now only going to be in airports and maybe train stations as well. So yeah, they've abandoned the idea of selling things for less than like £6 each. So if you want a bar of Tony's chocolate only, £7 or something. Yeah, mad.
I will say, if you did ask me, name a store in a UK train station or airport, that would be my default answer. WH Smith.
Yeah. I'll tell you one good thing about them. If you like magazines, they do at the airport.
Bloody love them.
The best selection of magazines you'll find in any shop anywhere, because people obviously want to buy them for the fly. But it's funny that if you are someone who's into magazines, you can pop along to the airport and you can pick some up. Won't find them anywhere else.
Inside the ropes.
They didn't have inside the. They didn't have any wrestling. I don't think people who like wrestling are allowed to fly generally.
They're on the fly list. They ain't reading. I know that more these days.
They're not allowed to fly. They cannot read. So much good to them. So Michelle's off, which means I'm bloody living it up. Had sausage sandwich for dinner. So
you bold boy.
No vegetables. No vegetables. Just had a bloody sausage sandwich for dinner because I fancied it. That's about it really. Other than that, just watch telly. Just watching telly that I like.
Very good, very good.
Films and that. So it's good.
I will say I don't have it on the rundown, but just a few little things. When I was a young lad,
when I was
when I was a tenth as heavy as I am these days. I had a little child edition Aesop's Fables. And I was in the local book emporium and I bought myself an adult copy of Aesop's Fables. So I've been reading some fables.
You've learned reading your fables.
I've been reading and using me fables.
Go on.
Fables.
The book only costs €4, which is quite good.
It's not a hot new release, is it? I mean,
no.
It's not Aesop's Fables Switch 2 edition. You know,
I'll give you a fable. I'll go to a random page. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll look at it, and if it's too long, I'll go to a different random page.
Okay. Yeah.
A short one. Okay.
CSP's got issues. Is back.
They're all like a paragraph long. Okay.
The funny thing is, we were doing podcasts when he wrote them, so do the one from the week we started.
If the audio quality be bad, it may be on internal.
Okay. So here we go. We got the wasp and the snake.
They're going to be great pals. They are going to be fast friends. Let me tell you.
Barry has spoiled the ending, so we'll go to a different one.
Two
I
animals.
don't even know what's about. What are you talking about?
Two animals that you wouldn't expect to be together. They're together. What are we going to learn?
And they're mates, weirdly. Okay. A wasp seated himself upon the head of a snake and striking him unceasingly with his stings, wounded him to death.
Oh.
That's a good first sentence.
Go on. Okay.
Yeah.
The snake, being in great torment and not knowing how to rid himself of his enemy, saw a wagon heavily laden with wood and went and purposely placed his head under the wheels, saying, "At least my enemy and I shall perish together." That's it.
Okay.
Good little one. Good little one.
What did we learn from that class?
Kill yourself. Just if you're having a hard time, kill yourself.
I think the message, whether you perceive it to be a good or bad message, is if you're going down, you're coming with me. Is that kind of thing?
Right.
And the other thing was,
wait, I thought the first line was that he wounded him to death.
but he was selling it. He was selling it.
How did
He was on the way.
Killed me.
How did the snake crawl under the wagon if you'd been wounded to death in the first line?
Well, I can't. The problem is that this book is like 300 pages now.
I say so.
Oh no, there it is.
Aesop.
There it is.
Oh, so at least my enemy and I should perish together.
Hang on. Where's it gone? Yeah, here. A wasp seated himself. Blah 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 blah. Wounded him to death. There you go.
Maybe
Well, then it said the snake being in great torment. So it does. The snake was dying. It wasn't an immediate. Immediate process.
Let me just read the original Latin. It might. Yes, I see. Yes, atrocita ipsum vexabat. Yes, so.
So it's a translation.
To the point of maybe to the point of death.
Yes,
so he was going to die. Yeah,
he was mortally wounded, but he was not dead as of yet.
You should have bought a copy of Aesop's Grammar before this. We can understand his sentence structure.
Yeah, I should translate all of these myself.
The other thing was in following on Joe's flights of fancy. I had a little bit of a walkie yesterday. Broke my record since I got my Fitbit.
What'd you do?
I did 32,000 steps. Whatever that is in kilometers. I think it was about 22 kilometers or something.
Yeah.
So that was a good little walk ski.
Very nice.
And I am trying. I did say at the start of the year, I want my New Year's resolution was for my average steps per day for the whole year to be over 15,000. Currently, I'm only at 11,800. So I'm a little bit behind. But the plan was, also I've been sick the whole time. Keep that in mind. But the plan was for the summer to go crazy.
Just be out.
Summer months will be like 20 to 25 every day. So I'm expecting that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the life of we don't have wrestling news written down. We do have some wrestling news, but I'm going to use it to segue into the weekly fantasy. Okay. And that news item being everyone is injured in AEW.
Yes.
Yeah. There's about 5 people injured who are picks in our fantasy league. Orange Cassidy, Joe's number one pick, torn booby. Out with the torn booby. Looking down through the list here. Well, Cope, not injured, but injury angled.
Yeah.
So he'll be off for a month, at least, I'd say. Jay White, broken hand. Pac hurt his ankle on Dynamite. However severe that is, severe enough that interimed Mox into the Trios champions, which we'll talk about in a bit. I'm sure there's more. Who else is hurt? Maybe there's not. Maybe that's more or less. I feel like
Jay White, obviously we talked about last week, is
Jay White with the hands. Yeah. So as we come to the fantasy league, as we said, big dynasty for Barry, and we anticipated there was going to be an even bigger dynasty for Barry, but that did not turn out to be the case. Dave Meltzer absolutely fucked them on the triple threat. 4 3/4.
Like that is, he has not shown that much restraint in like 20 years. Like that is, like I was watching that thinking, not thinking this in terms of my ratings, but I was watching this thinking, this is the easiest fucking bonus points in the history of bonus points. I can't believe that. And then, but then simultaneously, he gave Fletcher and Briscoe 4 3/4, which is just a mental rating regardless. I mean, it's a really good match, but I was like, what? Oh, who could predict those ratings anymore? My God.
Yeah, to me, there was one match on that pay-per-view that was far and away the best match, and that was it. Meltzer didn't agree.
No.
Believe he enjoyed that Jericho match as well. Quite a bit.
Oh yeah, you surprised me.
So and otherwise, since the pay-per-view, the TV was relatively straightforward. Joe got 10 points, I got 12, Barry 6. But as we're on the topic of the injuries, I'm thinking, okay, looking at injuries and looking at people who, for whatever reason, have just fucking disappeared. Theoretically, I'm down 4 people at the same time, which is Pac, Jay White, Cope, and Mariah May. Where the fuck is Mariah May gone?
Well, they're not injured.
Well,
she's not injured. She's just
she's on
away.
She's selling the loss. I think that's. But I suppose what makes it complicated is she's selling the loss and possibly leaving, and so it's like, will they? Because I think if she's leaving, she just won't come back. I don't think they'll bring her back to put over 3 people in the dying weeks. I mean that I don't think so. Yeah, I mean I think that's actually that's a bigger question mark than some of those injuries, because we don't know how long some of those people are going to be out.
That's the thing. So do I burn my second transfer? Joe, meanwhile, has the Orange Cassidy injury, which we don't have, as far as I know, any out and out confirmation, any out and out statements. The word is a torn pec. If we're going,
he was on TV. Apparently, they said he wasn't going to need surgery.
Okay,
that's what I just read. So I'm hoping it's more like weeks rather than months. So I'm going to keep him.
I was going on the Cody Rhodes timeline of Cody was out about 6 months with his. But as you say, I don't know if he does need surgery, then that might be a quicker return. Yeah,
it might be a little.
The risk with Orange Cassidy is if you trade him out and it doesn't turn out to be very long, and one of us snatches.
You motherfuckers.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel with Mariah. Mariah was such an earner last year.
Yeah.
But like each of our teams has one person who's still in single digits. And it's MJF, Mariah May, and Willow. I don't know if in January you would have predicted that. I might have called you crazy. Willow only on 8 points still is to me.
I mean, Mariah, we're creeping up on the halfway point of the year. I mean, like Tony Khan, are we shitting or are we getting off the pot here? What are we? What are we doing?
MJF the same. MJF, I guess Joe brought in thinking, okay, he won't wrestle on TV every week, but he'll get the pay-per-view matches. And then he wasn't even on the pay-per-view is an issue, you know.
And he lost the other fucking.
And he lost the other one to Hangman, of course. I mean, I was looking at potential transfers in. The problem with, even though I have 4 people who are quote unquote out, I don't know if any of those 4 are going to be potentially long term enough for me to pull the trigger right away.
Mm.
And plus, like, I'm looking at your team here, and it's just kind of like they're all like decent earners, like Cope, you know, like Jay White. These are people that when they're around, they are going to be getting you points.
The one I would be worried about would be Pac, as someone who's had an ankle injury that basically had me out for a year. And with the Adam Cole situation, like, I mean, ankle injuries are no joke. And Pat's been so good for me. What do I do? Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off for at least another week.
See if we can get some clarity on those.
What I don't want Barry and his 10 healthy, strapping lads and lasses jumping ahead of my 6 little remainers. But as I said,
sorry, I'm looking at the teams. I forgot in my whinging about Adam Cole last week. I forgot he got me points by winning the title. He whinging about having to watch him wrestle. I don't know. I'm
looking at the undrafted people, especially looking at the like form table. Mike Bailey looking very, very appealing. Joe, I mean, this match on Dynamite we'll talk about in a minute, but I don't know. Hologram as well. Wheeler Yuta's been doing very well. There's quite a few people over the last 5 weeks alone. Wheeler Yuta, Hologram, Mike Bailey, Hobbs, Bandito, Anthony Bowens. I think would be a sneaky good pick at this stage. Yes, Kevin Knight maybe as well. Like, think of these people who are going to be on Collision most weeks having these little matches. However, I'm not going to make any transfers. I don't think any of us are going to do any this week. So I'm going to call together the council because there is a judgment required. Okay. So on Collision, I'm going to try and use their wording as closely as possible here. On Collision, they did mention that Pac is injured and that Jon Moxley is stepping in as an interim trio champion.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean from a fantasy point of view in terms of Pac being the champion and I would fully accept that Pac should not get any further points for defenses of the titles.
Yes. Yeah.
But are we saying that Moxie now becomes the champion and Pac isn't? Or is Pac still technically the champion and Moxie...
Didn't we say, now if it refreshed me on our correct me if I'm wrong, rather, from our discussion there at Christmas time, I think we said that if a guy loses a title via being injured, but outside of the context of a match, he doesn't suffer.
Thing is that, but Pac hasn't lost the titles per se.
But this is what I'm getting there. I'm getting there. What I'm saying is that so hypothetically, if Pac was injured and they didn't put Moxley in his spot, they just said he's no longer the champion, he's vacating. He wouldn't suffer the penalty, isn't that right? He wouldn't, because he didn't lose a match for that title. That's what we settled on, because the points are based on matches, right? I would say, in classic AEW fashion, they've just made up another rule and said that Moxley...
Well, the problem is, last year they had this exact circumstance. They had this exact circumstance last year with the Bullet Club Gold.
Yeah.
And they did not let Juice Robinson substitute in for Jay White.
So...
And then this year they... The thing that complicates it, though, the thing that complicates it is they have announced a match for Dynamite, which is the Ops against the Death Riders. I also feel like it's a little unfair if we were to transfer the entire responsibility to Moxley if that match was only set up for the Death Riders to lose the belts immediately to the Ops.
Which I think it is. Which I think it is.
You get my drift. It's a very tricky one. It's a very tricky one.
But I would say if obviously them using the interim word is so confusing, so needlessly confusing on their half. But that's a separate argument.
This is the thing, because
if Pac was injured, they just said. But if I'm going to say if they was injured and they just took it off him, in next week they just did an angle where Triple H 2002 style, they just give it to Moxley. Then he was to have a string of matches. We would have to just recognize him as that. He would have to get those points, and then if he lost it, he would also suffer the penalty. The fact that they're not doing all that build up and they're probably just taking it off next week. I still think if you want to go super letter to I think if he wins, he should get the defense points. But if he loses, I think Moxley should have the losing a title penalty. But Pac shouldn't. So I don't know who has Pac.
Whoa. And the thing is, I have Pac and Joe has Moxley. Is it like...
Well, that's my take. It's a tricky one. I would say Mox, for AEW's purposes, he is counting as champion. But I would say for our purposes, it would be simpler to just not count him as like champion. So if they win, he doesn't get the title defense. If he loses, he doesn't lose the title. Then maybe he gets a match. If they do win, he gets a match win rather than a. So almost treat him as if he's not the title holder. I don't know.
This is the thing: is that like we were talking about interim champions, right? The thing is that Claudio and Wheeler just continue their reign. Like it's not like interim tag team champions where the two guys. It's one of the three specifically. It is in essence. Mox is just substituting in for Pac for these matches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. If we go the other way and he is counted as champion, then I should get 10 points for him for getting the belt. And then I'll lose 5. But I think it's best he counts. His performance in the match counts, but he's not counted.
Right.
Because then it gets too confusing. Because
I think Joe has jokingly made a good point there, which is that the -5. Sorry, the -5 is in a sense counterbalanced by the +10 of winning a belt. So
he didn't win it.
He didn't win it, but then by virtue of that.
But when we did the rules show, we said it should all be tied to matches because especially when you look at the doc, you have it listed as like results from the respective Dynamite.
Correct.
So Moxley wouldn't get winning points because he didn't win it on a television show. But if he loses it on Wednesday, that is him losing a title on Dynamite, is it not? You know.
Pac.
I think it's cut and dry. I think he just gets a title and he gets the champion pluses and negatives. Even though, I mean, what's shitty is that they are putting it on him just to beat him. I think it's fairly obvious they're losing on Wednesday. Well, I suppose I should say it's fairly obvious because
I mean, the AW website.
I think they're building Mox Joe.
The AW website does still list Claudio, Pac, and Yuta as the champions.
Well,
interesting,
dink, isn't it? I mean, they've also got graphics say Moxley's defending the title on Wednesday, so.
I'll tell you what.
But I guess are they considering it? Are they considering it hypothetically if Moxley wins on Wednesday, and then he wrestles 2 more months, they go undefeated? Are they then saying when
Pac will come back and Pac will
slot back in? Yeah, that's.
I believe. Yeah, the way they explained it, I believe that. I mean, I don't think that will happen, but I believe that's kind of what they're getting at because they're not saying that Mox is the champion. They're saying he's the interim champion while Pac is injured,
and he's slotting him. How about this, right? I don't think Paul will like this. Paul and Joe I'm not involved, so Paul and Joe can argue this out. I would say the points for that match, the match and or matches, if there's multiple that involve Moxley and this championship, the points should still be applied to Pac. Because Moxley is literally just standing in lieu of Pac. So if the team, which I'm 90% they're losing on Wednesday, Pac suffers.
Okay, I mean, I
lost there because Moxley is in his stead.
No, okay, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all.
No, I think that is interesting because that is he is standing in for Pac. That is what he's doing, and he is replacing Pac. It's almost like Moxley doesn't exist. If Pac had got injured, he'd be in this match, right? That's the point. So let's pretend Mox is Pac.
Listen. I think if they lose on Wednesday, Mox should have the championship penalty. I think that is the most letter of the law.
Can you get a loser if you didn't
That is
win
the
it?
most letter of the law that we discuss.
If you didn't win it, you can't lose
well,
it.
I have a proposal, and this now it's. I guess I'll throw it out here. Is that Moxley will still get the match points? So if Death Riders win, Mox will get the points for winning the match. If Death Riders lose, Mox will get no points for having lost the match. But I think as a stand-in, he's ineligible for bonus points. Or
Joe said that earlier. I think
that was my first suggestion.
That was his first suggestion.
Yeah, but Pac will leave unchanged until either he returns, or if the belts are lost, that would not apply to him.
As a matter of compromise, I think that's fine. So Mox can get the win or the loss, but no bonuses. But I think the letter of the law is if he loses that title, he's losing a title. I think that's.
Barry's been drinking a lot of wine this week.
I've got a fine bottle of Chilean 2003 here, and it's saying to me that they should, the entire team should lose 20 points for this chicanery. But it would be nice if AEW just had like rules and stuff about these things instead of just making it up as they go along, baby.
Okay, I think.
All right, I think we're settled on that. I think we can bang our gavel and say that Moxley will get standard winning or losing points on Wednesday and no championship bonus or punishment for that. I think that's a compromise. I mean, I think he's losing because I think it's not going to be an issue beyond next week. I think because it seems like they're going Joe Moxley for the next pay-per-view, so there's your obvious kind of setup for that.
Okay, we'll do that. Gavel is banged. Okay.
The gavel has banged, and with that we segue over to a different feature.
Russian Legsweeper's back. Remember Russian Legsweeper?
Yes, not really, but yes.
You were the quiz master for one of them, Barry.
That sounds about right, yeah.
You sound very convinced. So Russian Legsweeper is a very, very simple quiz of 10 questions.
Yeah.
And I will give you a category. And you will give me an answer to that category, each of you, in the Discord DMs.
Right.
But the catch is that I am also playing. And so if you give an answer that matches my answer, you get no points. And if you both provide the same answer, then you split the points. Each question gets accumulatively more points. So question 1 is worth 1 point. Question 10 is worth 10 points, and so on. So let me pull up my little drawing app on my iPad so I can write my answers down and be held accountable. Here we go. Here's my tablet. I'm sitting slightly to the side here, so I'm going to move my little camera around. Okay, let me, just before we start this, let me figure out how to make a new note here. Here we go. Is this working?
Right.
This is what happens when you get a new tablet, by the way. You don't know where any of the options are. Does this work? Nope. No, I don't know how to do it. I mean... Oh God, this is a disaster. I'll edit this
Type
out.
it in an Excel spreadsheet, like
People won't know. People won't know. No, but I need to be able to show to you that I wasn't telling lies.
Yeah, but then just hold it very close.
Yeah, I suppose that would work. Oh, there's a paintbrush thing here. Hang on, this should do it.
Well, Paul is fiddling there. I did not know that that rematch game is coming out in June. I didn't know that had a release date. That's class. That's the Seafood developers football game.
Oh yes, I remember that.
I didn't realize that was coming out so soon. I'm very excited for that game. FIFU, as I believe some people were calling it, which is very clever.
Very good. Okay, hang on. I think I've got it here. Or do I? Miscellaneous books and information. This was so easy on my old gimmick. Okay, hang on.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to write it out. That'll have to do. So otherwise, I can't figure it. I can't figure it out. Okay. So, question number 1. Discord's ready.
Right.
Yes.
Question number 1 is, name me a currently active wrestler.
Oh, that's just it? Okay.
That's just it.
Okay.
Name me a currently active wrestler. There's quite a few of them. Okay, we've got answer number 1, and we've got answer number 2. So Joe has said Seth Rollins. I will say, Joe, I was very, very close to picking Seth Rollins.
Why?
I don't know. Barry has gone for Jada Parker, the very...
Who?
She's a pretty lady on NXT.
Real wrestlers only. Come on.
I went for CM Punk. El Punker.
The time you went so poppy, you very nearly exploded on each other. Come on now.
Almost. So 1 point each there. Question number 2. Can you name me any named character from The Simpsons?
Okay.
Okay. Oh, 2 very, very good answers again. Barry has gone Agnes Skinner, another lovely young lady. Joe has gone, again, very similar to Seth Rollins, Rod Flanders.
I want my freaking ears.
I went Nelson.
Nelson. Right.
Nelson. So 2 points each.
Seth freaking ears Rollins.
Okay. Number 3. And I'm going to use my little prop for this.
Oh!
I'm looking for any wrestler featured in the February 1996 issue of Power Slam.
So said the date again?
February 1996.
February 19.
How do you have a list? Have you scanned through it?
I don't have a list. I will merely look at it. To be fair, there's one page which is like all the house show results, and most of the people are on there.
Okay.
Okay. Joe says the Giant, and Barry says Savio Vega. Savio Vega, I'm pretty sure, is correct because I know Steve Austin had just debuted the ref, and his first match, I think, was with Savio Vega. Joe says the Giant. I'm not sure I've seen the Giant show up yet. Look. I know he debuted in 95, so he must surely be around.
Yeah.
Let's go. What's happening in WCW here? Yes, the Giant is correct. And I believe Savio Vega is correct as well. So we'll give you each a point on that one. So good job. Yeah, the Giant was in the main event of the Clash of the Champions, I think, that year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all good so far. 6 points each. Question 4. We're looking for any in your house subtitled show. So we're looking for the subtitle of any of the in your house shows. Oh, I need to write down my answer. Oh, my answer for the last one was Shawn Michaels, by the way. We're both fine.
Okay.
So for this one, I'm going to say...
He's so cute. I know I'm sexy.
In your house. I was going to pull up the list here so I can be 100% certain.
Oh, it's...
Come on, Barry. We need a in your house, please.
Aye.
Okay. Barry's gone for the one I think we referenced on last week's show. D Generation X. Joe has gone
choice.
for
A very obscure one.
Joe's gone for In Your House 9, I believe. International Insect.
Yes.
I went for A Cold Day in Hell.
Nice. Nice, good. They used to have good names. To be fair, they should.
They did. Now they're all called.
I think wrestling desperately needs to get back to like the pay-per-view being named after like what the current storylines are. You know,
it should be called pay-per-view. Or I don't know.
Two Death Riders. You know.
Yeah. That's a good one. They've got Spring Breakthrough coming up. Yeah,
that is cute. They use all the cute ones on TV shows. You know.
Question number 5.
Should have put that in the wrestling news. Pissing all over Nitro's legacy. With that,
I want a WWF European champion. Anyone who held that belt.
Okay.
Okay, we've got Shawn Michaels from Joe. And we've got Jeff Hardy. I went Shane McMahon.
Here comes the money. Here comes
classic
the money.
from back in the day. Let me
Money.
I believe both of yours are correct, but I just got to double check.
Yes.
Yeah, second ever, Shawn Michaels.
And Jeff was the last, I believe.
I believe that is correct, but I will just double check. Shawn Michaels, one night only, of course. Jeff Hardy, only held it for 2 weeks, and then unified with.
He wasn't allowed to come from Europe. That's why they had to end it.
Very
RVD
possible.
beat him in a unification match, I believe it
Oh
was.
yeah.
Okay, 15 points each. Number 6. Anyone who wrestled at WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
Okay, we have the answers. I'm going to pull up the WrestleMania 17 card here, of course, to be sure, but I mean, we know that card pretty well by now. Barry has gone for Justin Hall Bradshaw. I believe there was a 6-man tag that he was in. Is that correct? Taz and the APA.
APA and Taz.
Joe has gone for the Repo Man in the Gimmick Battle Royal,
very
of course.
good. Very good.
They uploaded that to YouTube
They
today.
did actually.
Oh, did they?
That's why I saw it.
Well, great minds think alike, although not that one. I went Sergeant Slaughter, so I did also go Gimmick Battle Royal.
Maggot.
Remember when we thought that was the standard for a bad match? That is
That's like 3 stars now.
that's like 3 stars today. Yeah.
Iron Sheik won because he couldn't bump over the top rope. Great times.
Master of the craft.
Okay, so all clear so far. Number 7, we're looking for anybody who has been a manager in AEW.
Manager.
A manager in AEW.
Okay. Barry has gone for Vicky Guerrero. Of course,
I nearly said
Andrade. Joe's gone for Tully Blanchard.
I nearly went Tully.
you bastard.
Paul's gone Tully.
I also went
Bastard.
Tully. Remember Tully?
Yeah, Sean Spears had him on his trunks.
He sure did. So Barry jumps into the lead, 28-21. Number 8. We want an AEW Women's World Champion. Any of the women who have held that belt.
AEW Women's World Champion.
I think there's about 8 or 9.
7 or 8.
Yeah, give or take. Okay, Joe has gone for Tony Storm. The
Tony.
current and
Tony Storm.
most
Record holder.
Incredible.
holder. Barry's gone Soraya. Remember that?
Ooh.
I went
was there for
similarly English. I went for Hater.
Hater. I thought Hater would come up.
I went Hater. Okay. We're coming to the end game now, so the pool is very, very small.
Okay.
Question number 9. I'm looking for any member of Evolution.
Oh, Evolution is a mystery.
I will not accept Mark Jindrak as an answer.
I was just about to try my hand. No. Okay.
Had to get out in front of you there. Okay. Barry has gone Ric Flair. Joe has gone Ric Flair.
Paul has gone.
3 for 3.
Oh, we all tried to outthink each other.
So no points there. We all
No point.
Damn it.
No points. So Joe, you need this one for the win.
Yeah.
And I will clarify for this one, if you're not certain, I will allow you to look this up. For the final question, I'm looking for any participant in the main event of WrestleMania 30.
Okay.
Okay. It's not in all three of us picking the same one again, I will say. Joe has gone Daniel Bryan. Barry's gone Baptista.
I was going to pick Batista.
Daniel Bryan.
Oh, you bastard. Why are you picking the same one as me?
Sorry, Joe.
This is unfair to Flair.
Yeah. So Barry is our winner, 46-29.
What about?
Good game, that's a good game. That's a tough one. I always enjoyed that one.
It's a good one because you don't have to think too hard.
No,
it's just
you just have to pick someone and try and second guess you, lads. So
and we like things where we don't have to think.
I like that you have to think, but then think, oh, is that 2? Or what's he going to do? Oh no! And you start second guessing yourself. Yeah. Fun times.
Good stuff. Good game, lads. We will segue over to our Dynamite review. I thought they could have done with a humdinger this week after a so-so pay-per-view, and they did not. IMO. I'll kick things off by from last, or for I guess earlier in this week show, the last show. I'll concede something to Paul. He was so right. He was bang on. Show kicks off. The show kicks off with Moxley. He comes out and he just rambles, and he made it clear that he wasn't necessarily. He did a pre-tape. Pardon me. He did a pre-tape. And then he came out and he did. They announced Moxley versus Shibata during the week, right? Yeah. Which sounds cool when you think about it, and then I'm kind of like, it would have been cool like 6 years ago, maybe.
I think it was still good. It was a little short, but I enjoyed it.
I thought it was really boring. Really boring.
I enjoyed it in a faux blood sport kind of way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting the ticker on the is John Moxley washed conversation.
John Washley.
I'm not ready to say that yet. I'm not ready to commit to that bit. But my thing about a lot of these finishes have been bad, obviously, and look, that's the creative, and that's Death Riders. We all know the story there. I haven't been enjoying any of these matches before the finishes either. I got to be honest. The Cope matches, the Swerve match, I didn't really think was much. This, I mean, it was functional enough grappling, but it was.
I enjoyed this, so I'll disagree with you on that.
It's fair enough, but anyway, and more than anything else, I mean, it was like 4 minutes long. I mean, it was like nothing. I didn't. So basically, Shibata had him in a choke, and Moxie put a thumb in the eye, and then Mox put on a choke,
and the finish felt very blood sport as well.
Yeah, it felt kind of out of nowhere.
The abruptness of it, yeah,
in a way that I did appreciate, even though I thought it was very short. Then, and this is where I had to concede that Paul was correct. Out come the Young Bucks
with the
succession entrance, silly outfit, over the burnt tan. Coming out doing the same kind of disingenuous CEO VP thing from right before the end. I mean, like, what was the point in leaving? Other than perhaps everyone was starting to resent them, and they had the common sense to take a few months off.
Other than they only have a certain number of dates on the contract.
I mean, they strike me as the type that would go to work every single week if the fans wanted them. But I don't know. But they came out same routine, picking up where we left off. And I mean, I think it's an understatement to say picking up where they left off is not exactly what this company needs right now, considering the doldrums they were in. Not that it was the Young Bucks' fault. I'm not placing it at their feet, but their act was absolutely not helping the perception of AEW at the time they left. So they come out, they're still doing that shtick. They got on the mic, and they said that basically they kind of confirmed what a lot of people thought, which was that they did what they did for their supposed good friend Hangman Page. They made it clear that they're not in cahoots with Moxley, but they're kind of kissing up to him, is what it seemed like. They're going to try and pitch, as we said last week, the Elite Riders. They think, hey, we're with you, Mox. This locker room, they don't have it, and we want them to try harder. So what if we all came together to kind of put these boys on notice? So it's kind of what we and a lot of other people surmised. They're kind of participating in the Hangman Swerve story, and also they're trying to avoid trouble with the Moxley group by cozying up to them.
Right.
The delivery was like whatever, but it's just them coming out and just doing this routine after all this time, I thought was just a terrible look. Speaking of terrible look, out comes
straight from the gym.
Listen, I think certain people have enough aura to, like, you don't have to come out in the suit, right? Like Cody. If you're a guy like Cody, you got to come out in the suit. That's your bit, right? He's Mr. World. He's Mr. fucking NWA cosplay.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. World Champion. Fair enough. I don't think you have to do that, right? Moxley doesn't do that. He's as top guy as, Orange Cassidy, obviously. And, generally speaking, I wouldn't think that of Kenny. But Kenny comes out in the laundry day outfit. Okay, Kenny comes out in his me doing this podcast outfit, right? Kenny comes out in his me when it's a work from home day and I don't have to go to the office outfit.
Yes.
The shorts, the hoodie, the Pop-Tart crumbs on the hoodie. And you know what? Sometimes he can kind of pull that off. I think what the look didn't help though, when this was like the worst Kenny Omega promo. I don't want to say ever because that sounds melodramatic. Certainly that I can remember in recent memory.
Do you know something? Vince McMahon had one thing right. Let's get a list of banned words in AEW. You're not allowed to say heck. You're not allowed to say dookie. Kenny Omega, honestly, this is like a Rod Flanders promo.
Yeah, so he comes out and yeah. So first of all, I mean, but he's come out in the trackies before, and it's not that big a deal, whatever, right? But the material, oh my god! So yeah, he comes out and he's talking about how So you see, when you were doing your thing there about banned phrases, I thought you were going to say banning the phrase "the feeling." And all references to
also that. But also,
absolutely.
Because once again, he came out and he talked about how we're trying to bring back the feeling. And it's like, man, that is, I mean, you kind of let him off the first once or twice. He said it's like, all right, he's been like away having like half his guts removed, for like 6 months. Yet his life was genuinely in danger. Whatever. But while you were gone, buddy, everyone got extremely over that shit. It's so passe. Now he's still doing it. And again, a terrible 1-2 punch. The Bucks coming out doing their same old shtick from 4 months ago, and then him coming out talking about restoring the feelings. Like, oh, we're back in the not good way. We're not. It's not. We're so back. It's like, oh god, we're back to where this company was a couple of months ago when the TV was really bad. So he does this, and then he starts doing this. Like on Wednesday or on Thursday, I kind of compared it to like John Cena comedy, but it was like, but like with like worse delivery. He starts talking about how what was it like? Growing up, and you had that one friend who always dookies on himself or some shit like that.
Yeah, that would have been something else. No, he had a friend who had 2 Shih Tzus, and golly gosh, they used to do such dookies on the floor.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. He had little Shih Tzus, and they dookied on the floor. And he was. Oh, what happened there?
Joe took a bump off how bad this promo was.
The cat just poured a pint of water over the desk. Fucking hell. Just bear with me back in a second.
I'm glad you'll be back in a second. I'll keep recapping this segment. So like he's doing this dreadful Dookie promo, and he's kind of just like listlessly kind of, it felt like he was given this story to read, and he's not a big kind of, he doesn't strike me as a big memorize this Monday Night Raw opening promo guy. He seems like a little bit more of an old school go out there and cut a promo on your enemies guy. And was it just me, or did he like sort of get lost and then give up halfway through this and just say, anyway, let's fight. I'll come in the ring and fight, he said at one point.
But why is he such a weird prude? Why is he, well, heck, guys, and golly gosh, and the dookies happening, and Matt, your skin, you look like you're as red as your brother's jacket. It's like, what is this?
I mean, that was a real like doldrums 2000.
Oh yeah, you got me. You got me. You told him. Imagine like, I know, we always go to imagine Stone Cold doing this as a shorthand for this is bad. But imagine like, any of your baby faces, Eddie Kingston on one side of the spectrum, even to like an Orange Cassidy, as we said, wouldn't be coming out doing this sub PG like fucking Blue's Clues promo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as a grown man, how are you supposed to get excited about that?
And it's just, I don't know. This it really came off like either his heart wasn't in it, or he was having a bad night, or just
But he's always had this. Again, I don't want to call it prudishness about him, but like this, I don't know. He's very edgeless.
He is kind of edgeless, and I think he can hide that in certain ways, or he can come off edgy and kind of dangerous in other ways. I mean, sometimes I think the Kenny just comes off different in Japan, so it's a little overblown. But I was watching this and I was going, man, especially now that he's like a part timer who shows up there once or twice a year. No fucking shot would he do anything like this in New Japan. Not a fucking chance. I mean, this is just, maybe it's just a thing where it's something about this guy and like having to be a weekly television character that doesn't really, do you know what I mean? That doesn't really click. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it was just terrible. So anyway, he gets in the ring to fight him. They flee. Fair enough. Whatever. Right. Then in another really odd thing. Sorry, pardon me. I'm getting mixed up here. Okada's music came out when Kenny tried to fight the Bucks, and
Okada's music came out. What was that doing out there?
Yeah, it's
his music.
We had the sun last week. Now Okada's music is coming.
JR goes, by God, that's Okada's music. Okada, the person, comes out, and it looks like we're going to get a 3-on-1 beatdown. Swerve comes out to even the odds, and then the heels retreat. So another very easy payday for Okada here. Just came out in his suit and didn't even have to throw a punch. Swerve got a good promo about buck hunting season. There you go. Not a great start at all.
No, this was very choppy.
And restarted some things from a couple of months ago that I think people would have happily left in the rearview mirror, I would say.
Sure, but I mean, if we are building towards Young Bucks against Swerve, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I guess maybe.
But like, did this being one Moxley promo into a Young Bucks or Moxley match and promo into a Young Bucks promo, into a Kenny promo, into Okada appearance, into a Swerve appearance, into a Swerve promo, didn't flow maybe as well as they had on paper.
Yeah. This is where Pac got injured. They were doing a Swerve Pac match, and it just ended. He
got injured immediately as well.
Yeah, it was very quick. No details yet on what the status of Pac is, so there you go.
Yeah, he was on crutches.
Yeah, another one of those. It seemed. I mean, from the way he yelped and the whole way it went, I mean, it looked bad. I mean, it looked like it was. I don't think this will be a back in time for the pay-per-view situation. We had another one of these kind of slow burn, kind of Hanger and Swerve getting on the same page things. Page was confronting Nana. He went looking for Swerve, but he found Nana, and Nana kind of started to start down the way of like apologizing for everything that went down, and Page didn't want to hear it and cut him off. But we're obviously very slowly teasing that the Swerve camp is going to be like, all right, everything got out of hand. Let's put this behind us. And Page like doesn't want to hear it, but at some point will come out and like save Swerve or whatever. So there you go. I think that stuff's been done pretty well.
Yeah.
Explosive $400,000 8-man tag team match. Speedball, Ospreay, Mark Briscoe, and Kevin Knight versus Ricochet, the Beast Mortos, and Crew. They had some really fun pre-tapes before this. With kind of Mark Briscoe like forming the new conglomeration basically with the lads. This is just all action, just crazy multi-man match, super fun. I mean, a great list of competitors there. I think let's get back to 2019 AEW. I think they should get back to just like everyone having a faction, and I think Ricochet could have Crew as his goons. He could have Crew as his boss. We'll get him. His guys. I thought they were fun in this match. They're good, like high flying chaps, but they obviously need, I think, a little bit of a something, a little bit of a role. And I think they can match. Think about those jackets, and I think they could match Ricochet's like I'm a loser, but I don't think I'm a loser energy. Yeah, that was my main talk.
I like that.
Ospreay pinned Beast Mortos for the baby faces got their money.
The Beast.
Poor old Mortos can't buy a win, sadly, but maybe his time will come at some point. I think this is my favorite thing on the show. This is a lot of fun. We got Hurt Syndicate MJF segment, which I feel like was just kind of, I guess they had to formalize it. It was kind of what you knew it was going to be, right? They're having an extremely WWE segment, a celebration of the fact that they're successfully defending their titles. So they've got the ring full of props and photos and a table and kind of over that kind of stuff. MJF comes out and he's doing the disingenuous thing. Lashley wants none of it. MVP reiterates that the syndicate is a unit and they have to be in unison if they're going to admit a new member. So they tease that they're going to do the evolution thumbs up, thumbs down stuff with like MVP, Shelton, and Lashley. It starts with Shelton, and in a nice little square, Shelton just puts it down. And it's like, okay, there's no further voting because MVP was like, we have to be unified 100%. And Shelton, the first guy, puts thumbs down and go, all right, that's it. And they leave, which I thought was, that was a nice button on that. I don't quite know what we're building to here. MJF getting his 6th or 7th heel unit to go after the boys.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't watch Dynamite.
Oh, you didn't watch Dynamite. You didn't watch that.
I just after the pay-per-view, I was like, it just doesn't.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, pay-per-view had some good matches, but it fell flat. And this was a flat episode of TV. So I mean, as we kind of mentioned on last week's show, I mean, it just does not feel like a great use of the Hurt Syndicate. MJF's another guy. I could probably use a couple of months off. I could probably. It's just I'm kind of over it. The routine and like I said, this is he's gonna get some heavies in and they'll have a feud and whatever.
It started so well with the Swerve Strickland thing. Them trying to recruit Swerve and him saying no, and the Swerve Bobby, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then they had that one match, and then it was just like pretend that never happened. Why did that? I forgot. I could still be watching them now. I'd be happy to be like watching like that feud continue. To be honest, but anyway, now they went on to be tag champs so that they can wrestle. Biggest bunch of fucking jobber teams you've ever seen in your life. Probably 2.0 next week. Yeah, and then MJF, it's an episode for that.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad to think we were doing Swerve and Bobby, like Swerve coming off a world title run, putting over Bobby, and then it's like they're giving way too much to the Outrunners a few months later on pay-per-view. So there you go. Penelope Ford and Bane just kind of did we're not going anywhere promo before being announced for Collision. We'll see. We will see. Statlander versus Thunder Rosa in the Owen with timeless Toni Storm on commentary. She was very funny, as she tends to be. Good match. I thought one of Rosa's better matches in ages. I mean, I can't remember the last Rosa match I really enjoyed, but good stuff. Good stuff. Statlander beat her with the Saturday Night Fever. Toni Storm got on the commentary desk, applauded, and had a stare down with Statlander. So there you go.
Although they somehow managed to not get a shot of Toni Storm applauding somehow.
Well, yeah, because they got a shot of her from behind with her gown on, like standing on top of the table, but you couldn't see what she was doing until right before they cut to the back. You just about saw what she was doing. Another great moment. Got a couple of backstage promos. Don't need to recap all of those. It's been a couple of segments. Time for another WWE segment involving props in the ring and a table and a TV screen and a title. It was the Learning Tree. Or sorry, TV time with the Learning Tree. Excuse me. I apologize, everyone. I apologize. Jericho came out, talked about losing his tooth and all this other stuff. Called out boys. He said, I was hoping the three of us would be here with championships, but you didn't win at Dynasty. Big Bill cuts him off. And so this entire segment was basically kind of teasing that they were going to do the turn right here and right now. Mm-hmm. But then Jericho snapped and kind of put them back in their place. So Big Bill's like, listen, if you've got something to teach us, give it to us. But if you're just going to have a meltdown and berate us for losing, we're just going to leave. And Jericho says, "Oh, interesting. Yeah, you think that? He grabs his TV, his baseball bat. He smashes the TV monitor. He starts by saying, he's like, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. And then he screams, I'm disappointed over and over again. And he smashes the shit out of his TV. They let him say the fuck word on television, or he just said it. I don't know which one. He said, I'm fucking disappointed. And they stood there like a couple of kids being disciplined, and kind of the implication being that essentially they've fallen back in line for now. And I was kind of ready for him to split, to be honest. How many more pay-per-view cycles are we going to drag this out where he wants them to win and they don't? Yeah, another whatever.
Yeah. Let's let Jericho go, I think, at this stage.
Not gonna happen, baby. Not going to happen. I mean, this is kind of the thing as well. This is like we were saying, I think a couple of months ago, again, at the absolute peak of being bored of the box, just a lot of the stuff not clicking. Just to boil it down to brass tacks, there's just a lot of people on the show just kind of over. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't need the box. I don't need Jericho. I don't need Cole. I don't need MJF. Cope's written. I mean, they couldn't have written Cope off any sooner because I kind of had my fill of that. I'm kind of over Moxley, which pays me to say because I've always loved Moxley, but man, did another segment with MJF and MVP. The crux of this basically was where MVP basically goes, it's business. In a world of business, figure out your consumer, then figure out what they want and you give it. So I could have sworn that's what MJF just did at the pay-per-view, which is he helped them retain the titles. I don't know, is he going to help Bobby be the world champion? I don't know what the implication of that is going to be, but again, another one of those things where they obviously have their plan and it goes over the course of X months, but I'm just watching and going, oh, please just get to the part where MJF gets a new stable and bloodies them up and they have a match. I don't want to watch another 2 pay-per-view cycles of MJF wooing them. Main event was Death Riders versus the Ops in a tag match. A little precursor to the 3-way next week. This is a good fun match. They got the heat on Hook and built up to the Big Joe hot tag. It was good fun. The finish was what did we say? I'm reading this recap here. Shibata got involved and put Mox in a chokehold on the ramp, which was pretty cool. And Hook tapped out Yuta. That was it to set up the big win.
Yeah, so, Joe had Claudio and a choke on the outside as well.
Yeah. So the heels, of course, jump at the baby, beat them all down. Hook takes a neutralizer on a sort of open steel chair, which I thought was at least a cool visual. and the Death Riders run off. Joe gets the microphone, starts screaming. Because, the old good Samoa Joe promo says they're coming for the Trios Championships next week. This was not the extra TV they needed after a ho-hum pay-per-view, I have to say.
Hook appeared to be sick in the ring as well.
As in vomit?
Yeah. Hope he was okay.
It was a pretty nasty looking bump. I mean, he kind of assumed it was one of those ones
before the bump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could see it on the mat.
Oh, close. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, maybe it was just I don't know if he's too blown up or something, or if he was unwell or something. I don't know.
So that was Dynamite. It was pretty weak. Why don't you talk us through Collision there, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So you did see Collision, Joe, you were saying.
I did see Collision.
I thought Collision was great.
Did you now?
I did.
What did you like about it?
Despite the fact that
have you got a recap open? Or should
I do. Don't worry. I got it. Despite the fact that there was a lot of matches with boobers in it, I mean jobbers, not women, by the way. He doesn't mention with them things in the boobies, whatever they're called, them gimmicks. Poopy Jones over there. I still thought that the show had a good flow to it and good kind of important moments. So we opened up with the FTR segment, which I will always get a kick out of the commentator stepping in.
Yeah.
I always will get a kick out of that. Jerry Lawler back in the day defending Jim Ross. Always did it for me. So FTR were explaining their turn on Cope. They didn't resort to, why did we do it? Well, you people don't deserve an explanation. I thought their explanation was very sound. You could see how they as heels would believe what they were saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
I thought it was good.
I like this. I like this segment. I liked that they what'd you say about my daughter and all that.
Yes,
it was all right. It was good. I feel doing all right.
I feel like Shivani could have been a little bit more pointed to get the reaction that he got. Like when Dax said to Shivani, they brought Shivani into the ring. Yeah. Dax was saying, "What were you saying on Dynamite about me? What were you saying about my family?"
Oh, sorry, I forgot because I was reading the text recap on the website. They did do a very good Shivani looking into the camera, recapping the Cope angle and saying that his kids would be embarrassed. He was very good in it, but it was also one of those ones, kind of like when they'd zoom in on JR cutting a promo on a heel at the desk in like 2002. You knew he was getting beat up next week. When JR was like, and I'm sorry, but Eric Bischoff, I mean, he is going to the North Circle of Hell. He is going to the... It's like, okay, well, Bischoff is karate kicking your ass next week, obviously.
He's a no good son of a bitch. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
So here they said, Shivani, what were you saying about us? What were you saying about Shivani? And Shivani, I felt here should have been a little bit like, just outright say, I don't think your daughter would be very proud of what you did. But he was kind of talking around that, your daughter would have gone to school, and then the kids, what would they would have thought? A little bit. I think Shivani should have been a little bit more direct. But anyway, they grab Shivani. They're going to give him the old spike pile driver ski. Nigel stands up, takes the headphones off, gets in the ring. Oh, I'm popping for this. I'm popping. Danny Garcia comes out from behind anyway to ultimately also make save. They turn around, they push Garcia down. They didn't see him coming. And so this was this show had a nice little through line as well with FTR. I think this was one of the better FTR nights in like a year and a half, maybe.
That's good to hear.
I thought they did a really, really good job of kind of reigniting the FTR fire, because they made a point in their promo that they'd been they hadn't been up to much for a while, and this I thought got them over quite strong. Nigel making the save, a little bit of intrigue as well, although that might have been just a little bit of he was bickering with Shivani afterwards. What are you doing? Get in the ring! I told you don't do that. I told you not to get in the ring. Listen to me. I would like there to be a little bit of Nigel involvement. I mean, this feels like a nice way for Nigel to Maybe you do Nigel and Garcia versus FTR, something like that.
Yeah.
Something interesting. I don't know.
I didn't like it as much, but I would say my only nitpick, they cut to Nigel before he'd even stood up. It was
yes.
It was like, well, almost as if they were expecting him to intervene.
Almost as if it was bloody a work.
I don't know, but just
I do agree. And also, FTR stopped before Nigel had even taken his headset off.
Yeah, it was just bad timing.
It was a little. I agree.
What can you do?
Speaking of timing, Tony Storm did a pre-taped promo on all the women in the Owen Hart tournament. This was like when Excalibur used to run through what the Dynamite card was going to be the next week. Or it was like that bit in Simpsons where Krusty comes in to record the voiceover for the doll. Tony ran through the 8 women in about 4 seconds and was like, see ya, I'm out of here. Good luck. Was not the best Tony Storm promo of all time. She absolutely blitzed her way through it. Jamie Hayter, Billy Starks, very good match. Very good.
Yeah, I enjoy this. I think Billy's still a bit rough, but I really like her as a character.
Yes. She has that kind of deer in the headlights at moments, but it works because her character is that she's a very, very young, inexperienced rookie.
I think she's a bit lanky. She's kind of grown in. She's shut up.
Yes.
Why aren't you grown? Oh, you used to be that big. And then, yeah, she's probably still kind of growing into herself as just like.
She's a bit.
So.
What's the word? Gangly, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think it works. I think it works to her character. And this was a hard hitting match. There was some big old bumps in here.
Oh yeah.
Not least of which a suplex off the apron to the outside, which looked like it fucking sucked. Some very stiff. Whenever wrestlers do that move where it's like a Death Valley driver, but they put their knee out at the last second and they land on the knee. Loads of those moves. And then Hayter caught her with a big old Haterade for the win. Looked great. She just did the springboard Haterade like she did in the previous match.
She didn't need it.
Didn't need it. Before any listeners pointed out, by the way, I realize my voice is starting to go very croaky. I sound like Al Snow does these days, where he sounds like a weird robot. So I'll try to clear my throat when I'm not talking next, try to improve that. We had a little Death Rider promo where they kind of talked over the fact that Moxley was kind of going to step in for Pac in the trio's defense on Dynamite. And Joe, you were talking about, and Barry also, talking about your displeasure with the Hurt syndicates, oppositions and storylines. So here you had your one match build for Toa Leona and Bishop Khan to get a match on Dynamite.
Speaking of jobber tag teams, I do like these guys. I mean, these guys are fine.
They're good.
Kind of like them, but like, God.
Classic, like 23, 24, 25 era Tony Khan. Wheels them out at best to get a win before they lose on TV. Like, the sad state of affairs is this is kind of better than what they've been doing recently, which is sometimes people just show up in a title match,
Yeah.
Where have these chaps been? I mean,
Shivani literally said these guys are on such a hot streak. They've won like their last 4 Ring of Honor tag matches.
They live in paywall hell.
So I don't know. I mean, where are the guns? Where are the guns?
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
Where are the guns? They had that return promo. They lost against the Hurt Syndicate.
Tony Khan, the following up genius.
Where are the guns? Where are the guns? Backstage, Lexi Nair was talking with FTR, who were leaving the building before they were cut off by Angelo Parker and Daddy Magique, Matt Menard, with his Quebecois accent. Hey, where the fuck are you guys going to? Where do you think you are going, huh? Which is just, I love listening to Matt Menard bellowing at them. So they did make a match, FTR against Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, for later on in the night. Anthony Bowens defeated Blake Christian with his finishing move, the Mollywop.
This whole gimmick is already dead in the water. I'm sorry, it is dreadful. He looks like he should be wrestling on Thunder. That outfit is terrible. The promo was terrible. The nickname is terrible. The fact that he's still got Billy Gunn with him is terrible. -5 stars.
That's outrageous.
I just
how are they still doing the Billy thing?
Well, not only are he's still doing the scissor thing when he comes out. He's still scissoring the fans.
They don't have to feud or anything, but they need to do a segment where he's like, they do the old handshake backstage. Billy, it was real. You know, I appreciate it, but now I got to do anything. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. It's kind of it's just. I mean, we talked about it as well in the pay-per-view view. The big blowing it off on the pre-show. I mean, it's just. I mean, AEW pre-shows are not widely watched. I mean, it's not a big thing at all. And yeah, the gimmick and I don't know. It's very generic. It's very, very generic.
I mean, the 5-tool player or whatever 5-tool player, that is it, right?
Yeah.
Is like this baseball term that doesn't exactly translate to people like us. Same with the mollywop. The mollywop. Mollywop just sounds like a silly word to us. And I agree to an extent with like the entrance gear with like the little, what would you even call it? The little shoulder top.
No, yeah.
It kind of looks American Gladiator style, I would say.
Mm.
But I think Bowens needs something relatable to kind of get that audience buy-in. Ironically, I think he does use the nickname the pride of professional wrestling. I would have nearly leaned into that more.
Which is way better than the 5-tool player. The 5-tool player is
the thing is, he loves the 5-tool player.
Yes, obviously. And I think like he's also, when you said about his story, he needs a relatable story. I mean, if you've ever like watched any outside of AEW interview with him, he's so personable and he's so charismatic and he's got a great story. He absolutely has it, but it is like that is like something that like the 5-tool player and this just having kind of cool shiny gear. This is like something people do in like OVW in 2005. Do you know what I mean? It's like in lieu of an actual character. It's like a catchy name, and they're a great in shape guy, and they're just a white meat baby face. I mean, he just, especially as a guy who's been on our screens for like 3 or 4 years at this stage, there's a base of a connection there. You should be expanding on that. Instead, this feels like a bizarre kind of like reset, but also you're holding on to kind of some of the lamer aspects of the old act. It's like the worst of both worlds, I think.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I don't know if because of the political climate being what it is, that maybe they want to pare back on certain facets of him as a personality. I don't know. I probably think AEW probably not, and especially, you know, the AEW fandom generally, I'd say possibly not. But yeah, it is strange that you have this really, you know, admirable role model, and you've kind of pared away that element of the personality as far as it appears on TV.
Yeah. While holding on to like the scissor and Billy Gunn, you know, kind of reminds me of the early post Shield days when Roman was still like a vest wearing guy, because the bands have to look at him and think, oh yeah, the Shield. It's like,
and yes, his music was still the Shield.
It was still the Shield song. It's got the same thing with Bowens. Like they want people to think, oh yeah, the acclaimed guy, despite the fact that really, say what you will about him, like that was like Caster. The acclaimed act was Caster. Really, if we're being fair, you know,
yes.
Even though I prefer what's his face, Bowens as the actual wrestler. But anyway, he's also using a rolling forearm for the finish, which I always liked. His like, what was his move? The kind of rock bottom style thing he used to do. Oh yeah,
that was cool. I didn't change that. What's the other move he does? He does a kind of Death Valley Driver style move. I forget what he called that. The something or other. Anyway, he beat Blake Christian. Megan Bain was a big Bain.
I refresh my memory. Last week, what were we saying after she lost to Tony Storm? Was it she's going to be on Collision doing squash matches? Was it? I think we said.
Yes. You were merely adopted by the mid card. I was molded by it.
big stink of fucking mid-card Bono straight away. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Thanks, Tony Khan. Ruined her. Thanks. Brilliant.
And like she's not in the Owens,
Cheers.
so she's not going to be in any of the big title matches for the next 2 pay-per-views. Unless they do a TV match, but I doubt it. And that'll be the most placeholder match of all time if they do. I don't know.
Should have given Bane the reign, even for a month.
Bane the reign.
Yeah.
Give Bane the reign. Too late.
Well, yeah,
Too
she beat Little Mean Kathleen and Kelly Madan.
Rubbish.
I think I probably could have beaten Lean Mean Kathleen and Kelly Madan. Megan Main did it handily. No tease of anything. No tease of a feud. You didn't get like who would be a good babyface to come out here, like anyone, like a Red Velvet or somebody come out. No, just beat these two jabrones. Kevin Knight, AR Fox, fun little match. Kevin Knight is another guy though that I feel like needs more than he's a guy who has good matches.
Yeah, and has nice shades.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I made that point last week. Like, what's the difference between Kevin Knight and Dante Martin?
Yeah, I totally. But I think, but also I think the AEW is relatively kind of. I think he has time to figure it out. I suppose is because like it's not like there's a load of slots open right now. When you think about like how long has it felt like Ospreay is ready to be the world champion? He's ready like now, and he's been that way for like a year, and we've got like all this other like backlogged main event stuff we have to do. I don't think even if he put it all together character wise tomorrow, just like there's like nowhere for him. Just like he's got time. I'm more kind of concerned about, because the thing is I think with the men, if you're someone like Kevin Knight, you can mature and figure things out gradually, and you do your time as a mid-carder and you do all your jobs and you're the good match guy, but you don't really have much of a character, you don't have much of a push, but you gradually over time work your way up. Guys like Takeshita, right? Mm-hmm. But the women, there's an unfortunate track record of you come in like hot shit, you lose at a pay-per-view, and if you're if you're kind of one of the chosen ones, you stick around, but if you're not immediately kind of anointed and made of a big deal, I mean that can kind of be it for you. Unfortunately. So yeah, I don't know. I think they've got plenty of time with Knight.
You know who they could have brought in for Bane to like come and stand at the top of the ramp and say, Camille.
Oh yeah, she was allegedly coming back. Was she whatever happened to that?
And then Bane. Well, that's at least two big broads, and then Bane beats her, and then Bane's back in the mix.
Yeah, they could still do that. Yeah,
could do.
It's something. It's something. And the other thing is of course, if they are doing Storm Mercedes, will they just do TBS champion versus world champion, or would they probably actually now I think of it, probably. I was kind of thinking would they have Mercedes drop the TBS in the interim to somebody, but maybe not.
I mean, how many do we only have? We have Double or Nothing, and then it's
Double or Nothing. Yeah, they do have the Fighter Fest or whatever it is, the 4-hour show as well, that big TV show.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the culmination of all of this is Mercedes being the first TBS and world champion. I wouldn't be surprised.
Her belts are going to weigh more than her.
I know, yeah. I mean, like, when you got to have the Queen of Southside title represented every single week,
FTR, Matt Menard, Cool Hand, Ange. They have him here on F4W online as Cool Hang Ange. That is not his name. So Menard was like bloodied instantly. Dax hit him with the shoot rights. And he Matt Menard, let me tell you, does a lot of stuff good, but one thing he does great is getting the old crimson going.
Yeah. Just
like head to toe blood. FTR were hitting spike pile drivers left and right here. I think in this segment alone they hit about 6 spike pile drivers. So they're beating Menard they're beating the shit out of these guys. Garcia, they're hitting Menard with spike powders. Garcia says, "Guys, fucking, you made your point. It's enough." And say, "Oh yeah, we're listening to you, Garcia, we're listening to you." And then, they attacked Garcia from behind, gave him an old fucking pile driver as well. Bold lads. And then Undisputed Kingdom, or the Paragon, ran out for the save.
What's the Paragon?
Joe, apparently they're called the Paragon now.
Oh, I thought they couldn't get any worse.
That was in the Dynamite segment, wasn't it? We didn't cover that.
This is why I don't watch it. This is why, yeah, but well done, Barry, for not covering that. Absolute pants.
What would be a good name, Joe?
No, NXT Tag Team Champions, Undisputed Kingdom,
Undisputed Era.
Undisputed Era.
Yeah, I skipped over because it was just one of those kind of, it was the Adam Cole looking in the camera going, and now, we're back, and it's our time. I was like, oh god, and God, I mean, these 3 wrestlers and like Roddy and Kyle, I still really like to watch them wrestle, but man, the whole routine is death. I've seen a few people point it out. What is Tony Khan's obsession with like black and gold era NXT? The thing he beat the shit out of famously, and sent Levesque back into fucking divorce court. I mean, like, what is the obsession with replicating that? I just don't get it at all.
Yeah, this feels similar to the Lucha Brothers, where I would prefer them to be singles than a group. But again, we've made this point before that they can be in a group but not be tied at the hip. You know, you can have, like they do in New Japan, you have chaos, but you don't just have constant. I mean, you do in New Japan, to be fair. We don't have constant 8-man tags and stuff.
But I feel like, again, AEW used to be, because again, as I kind of referenced earlier, they used to have like a million factions, but they weren't always joined at the hip constantly. Yeah, I mean, I like Roddy and O'Reilly are 2 guys I would love to see them in that kind of, you know, Beast Mortos speedball kind of good match haver mid-card mix, and not in this constant like Undisputed Era vortex, you know, trying to fucking recapture the glory days of that angle or whatever. I mean, I just have no time for it.
So there you go. FTR turned on Garcia, as we said. So I very much enjoyed this segment as well. FTR getting nice and heated up. Most interested I've been in them in a long while. Matt Menard is always good for. I mean, he's always does a little commentary shtick, but when he's like really fucking on, he does a great promo and a great old blood job. Athena Harley Cameron in the quarterfinals. Athena beat her, of course. Not much to report on that one. It was fine. Athena beat her. And then main event, Big Brody and Takeshita in the quarterfinal. Takeshita beat him, of course, but it was a big old horse fight.
Oh,
it was very, very entertaining. And so we did get announced for Dynamite the Hangman wild card match.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Who do we think this wild card is going to end up being? Is it going to be new debut, or is it going to be Jeff Jarrett or Jay Lethal?
The Undertaker.
Ooh, going out the way he always
Lethal. I will stop watching this.
I will never watch it again. Darby Allin.
Oh, back from his mountain.
Yeah.
He decided to not do it in the end.
Decided it was shit.
Wait a minute, this is stupid.
Yeah. That's never stopped him before, unfortunately. Wait a minute, I'm stupid.
I will say Josh Alexander. I will say that's my guess. A newbie. I don't think they need another new person coming in. You know, another good match having guy. But I think it'll be. I think when they say wild card, I always interpret that as a new person.
Jack Perry.
Oh God! Between the Bucks coming back and doing the same shtick and then the death. God bless him. We do not need Jack Perry back right now. God love the lad. We do not need him back. We really don't. Oh my God!
I think you're looking 50-50 at Jack Perry or Alexander to be honest.
Oh my God, Jack Perry.
I mean, I know. I think it's equally plausible that it's Jack Perry. It's equally plausible that it's.
I mean, it really felt like we were gathering momentum in the run up to the pay-per-view. But I mean, I'm not trying to lay it all on fucking Jack Perry's shoulders. But if he comes back and we got to do more of that, I mean, it's that is just we're just right back where we were, you know. Anyway,
very good collision.
Sounds
very
like a good
enjoyable.
collision.
And I didn't even watch it live. I watched it in the morning, and usually that's kind of a death knell for enjoying a collision, is not watching it live. But actually, I thought it was a very fun watch.
Yeah, I'm going to try and at least watch Hader and Starks. Because that seems like good fun. I did watch the latest Dark Side of the Ring. I'm all caught up on Dark Side of the Ring.
I also watched it.
I thought it was one of their better ones in ages. Obviously, this one was about Vader.
Vader time.
And I think it was a great story. And I think the thing that always makes or breaks it is the interviewers, or the interviewees, rather. And I thought they had a good mix. You're used with historical figures, your Cornette, your Ross, but also they had his family members there. And I thought it was all very well done, I thought.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm reading about Vader a lot as I read through my old Power Slams. I've been reading since mid 94 was issue 1 of Power Slam. And I am currently on issue 20, I believe it is, or 19, sorry, February 1996, which we spoke about earlier. And so that does cover kind of the final years of Vader in WCW, the brief stint in the UWFI, and then kind of coming into the WWF. And so it was interesting seeing that play out. There were some stuff that they didn't necessarily cover, the Ospreay feud for one reason or another. One of my favorite Vader tidbits, though, which again they didn't mention, but they didn't need to mention because it had nothing to do with the Vader's story. But the idea that the Big Van Vader gimmick was originally meant for the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh yeah,
so one of my favorite little bits.
I thought they didn't mention him getting out of doing a job at Rev Pro before he passed away.
They didn't cover him coming back at Taboo Tuesday 2005, shaped like an egg, falling off the ring apron. That one got missed there. But no, I thought it was very comprehensive. They didn't touch on. They touched on him and Cactus Jack having these kind of blowout brawls, but didn't touch on the fact that when Cactus lost his ear was in a match with Vader.
Yeah, nor did they show the infamous nose breaking footage.
No, they showed Stan Hansen kind of
poking his eye out. Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought, all right, that's enough grotesque shit.
Stan Hansen was a great interviewee.
I was so surprised they got him. I don't know if he's done any of these before, but
I just like beating the fuck out of guys
because he looks like your nice, friendly uncle.
Yeah,
he punched him in the face. You know, he was good. He was really good. It was like an early days, like a real good, great subject matter, great interviews. You know, his kid was very charming. Seemed like a really nice guy. Highlighted the kind of thing that wrestling fans had always kind of heard about Vader, which was this kind of like softer side of him and stuff like that.
That was the most interesting bit where he like paralyzed the guy with the power bomb.
Yeah, and then he like had a breakdown about it basically.
Yeah.
Really good. Very worth seeking if you've enjoyed the previous Dark Side stuff, but you fell off it.
A great example of Vince McMahon not getting a guy.
Yes, totally.
Great example.
I don't know why I never assumed this. I always thought it's like probably just some stupid Russo shite, but they did say on this that the infamous Vader, I'm just a big fat piece of shit line was straight. They said straight from Vince's mouth because that's what he thought Vader was. He said, "Go out there and say you're a big piece of shit." So once again, renewed call, Vince McMahon, kill yourself. If you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I felt that way before I watched the Vader.
And just to be clear, that is a renewed call. That is a renewed call, Vince.
Yeah, I do have a subscription to the Connecticut Times. I do check the obituary things every morning. Nothing yet. You
got to check the front of the newspaper.
What other?
They didn't mention his kid was in NXT either for a while.
I suppose it's not really relevant.
I mean, if he trying to get into wrestling, I think.
But he's not still there, is he?
No, he's long gone, I think.
So next week is Tony Atlas.
What did you think of the Ludwig Borger one?
I didn't really know any of that stuff. I knew he had pivoted to politics, but I didn't know he was that successful. I didn't know he was like very famous in his home country. That was a good one. That was another good. I think the season's been good. I think, as mentioned last week, look, I think it was a mistake to center the Foley one. You finally do a Foley centric episode, and it's about the Hell in a Cell and not anything else. But I think 3, but that episode was still good, and I think this was a very this has been a very solid slate.
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell one, a really interesting angle. I think I may have said this last week. Sorry if I did. But a really interesting angle wouldn't have been to talk about, oh my God, what a spectacle the Hell in a Cell was, and rather take it the angle of this guy Mick Foley, who's had this career where he's really gotten over by having these outlandish, violent matches, kind of on the downturn of his career, having one big blow one, which ironically ended up drive to the main event for the final 2 years of his career, basically.
Yeah. Still to come on the slate next week, Tony Atlas. I mean, I'm sure there's some questionable stuff.
Yeah, it'll be him going, oh, 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 oh.
Yeah, it'll be him saying some horrid shit and then going, Superstar Billy Graham, Eddie Gilbert, that'll be a good one. Billy Jack Haynes, the original Sheik, I mean, that'll be really interesting. Daphne, I mean, that'll probably be extremely sad,
depressing.
I don't know. That one might be tough. That one, I mean, Eddie Gilbert as well. I mean, there's some tough ones here, and then one that'll surely just be sheer kind of like the non-wrestling fans who want just get it. Muhammad Fat is at the final episode. So I mean, that's because some of this, I think, part of the appeal of this show to non-traditional kind of wrestling fans is you get the kind of interesting, tragic stories about a world they don't understand. But there's like a handful of episodes every season that are just like, yeah, this is wrestling is just like the most depraved shit imaginable, and sort of embarrassing lowbrow shite. So that the Hassan one might detail that, but I think it's a pretty decent slate. Segueing over to our other guffs of the week. Just stick with TV for a bit here before we do the other stuff. How is the studio week?
I thought studio episode 4 was back up to episode 1 and 2 form. What do you think, Joe?
I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a bit sillier than the rest. But fun. Very fun.
One thing I'm liking about the studio that I guess I figured watching episode 2 was the case in that episode, but I didn't realize it was going to become a trend, is that maybe aside from episode 1, although maybe even with episode 1 there was some meta going on that I wasn't aware of, episodes 2, 3, and 4, the angle is that they take some specific element of movie making, of the movie that is within the series happening in that episode, and they then apply it to the episode. Right. So episode 2 was about a movie in which they were making this oneer shot, and the whole episode takes place in a oneer. Episode 3, remind me, was
Ron Howard.
The Ron Howard.
So I don't know if it was about giving a difficult note. So unless Seth Rogen got a difficult note in the making,
maybe
I'm not sure.
Maybe my whole point is wrong. But this one was a movie about a modern noir movie, and the whole episode was like a noir, which was very fun.
I was saying to Michelle, do you think that one was filmed on film? Because I was like, maybe, because that's the whole point of the thing, but I'm not sure. Unconfirmed.
Yeah. But yeah, what I thought, I mean, I loved episode 1. I think episode 1 has still kind of been the high point of how funny this show could possibly be. And then I thought episode 3 was kind of the slightly weaker one. And then this one I thought was tremendous fun. great involvement. And I was like a real noir, I was trying to follow the clues and try to figure out the mystery. Very, very funny. Very, very funny. So continue to recommend the studio. Don't listen to those red letter media fucking...
Those hacks.
arseholes.
YouTube fucking hacks and couldn't even sit through a Minecraft movie.
Oh, yeah, I did finally watch that.
One of the worst reviews I've ever done.
That was bad. I mean, walking out of... I mean, come on. Walking out of a movie halfway through. Come on. Not even halfway through. They said that once they got to the Minecraft world, they knew how it was going to play out. I was like, what? That's most films, if we're being honest. I mean...
But if they had some unique take... That would have been fine, but they didn't. They just said, "Oh, it was okay," and then they talked about IP again. This I thought was excellent. So do check out the studio if you have Apple TV, or even if you don't. I'm sure you'll find out a way, as I have. Very, very good. Very, very good. And Zac Efron is a very, very funny guy. So I was happy to see him turn up in this. A lot of funny cameos. Anthony Mackie last week, I thought was very funny as well. Anthony Mackie and Ron Howard.
Oh, he was good. Yeah, he was good.
Very, very good. So we'll see what is still to come, but I've been very much enjoying it. And also, I watched another episode of Disclaimer, also on Apple TV. I'm on the home stretch. I just watched episode 6 of 7. And episode 6 was kind of the first episode where I kind of started to turn on it in a good way. I've been very ho-hum on Disclaimer throughout. And there was a pull the tablecloth off the table moment in episode 6 that kind of recontextualized a lot of the show. I don't think necessarily makes those early episodes good. But it kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, to an extent, it was meant to be this way, even though I didn't get along with it. But I quite enjoyed episode 6. I thought it was quite good. A lot of the problems that the show had, I think it still has. I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen is any good in it, and I don't think he should be cast in any dramatic roles. I think he just not good.
Yeah.
But Cate Blanchett is excellent, and the way the story has kind of developed in these last couple of episodes, I think, is actually quite interesting. It is only 7 episodes long, so if you do want to take the dip, it's not a huge commitment, and there won't be a season 2 or whatever. It is just a mini series of 7 episodes. And you could do far worse. It is okay. Most of my gripes with it are, to be fair, to do with the writing and the performances. But like, generally speaking, the narrative of the show is decently interesting, I would say. So it's okay. It's all right. So we'll see how the fix the landing with episode 7. But it's not a show that I really dislike. It's okay. It's a thumbs in the middle kind of show. So we'll see. With a good ending, that might turn the thumb slightly up. But it's also not a show that I particularly love or go out of my way to watch. It's one where I have, something in for the evening. I'll stick something on, stick on the episode of Disclaimer. Yeah, that's where we are with it.
Alrighty. Last of Us back tonight.
Oh, Last of Us tonight, of course. Now, I won't be watching it right away because that, for me, Last of Us is a communal watch that I watch with some friends.
Okay.
And some of those friends are away, so I probably won't start watching until maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes are already out.
Okay,
but for those who do imbibe, enjoy.
Yeah, I'm very curious how that first episode is going. Me and Joe will keep it spoiler free, although you know what happens. So. Based on the first season, based on the first season, I can't imagine there'll be radical deviations. But yeah,
I believe there's some men with flowers on their heads or something at some point.
That's cute.
Speaking of men with flowers on their head, I watched Adolescence.
Oh yeah,
have you both seen it?
I watched half.
I have not.
Paul hasn't seen it, Barry. I won't go into spoilers then, but you know what it is. It's a 4-episode drama about toxic masculinity in a boy who has or has not committed a crime. I thought the first 3 episodes were really great. First one, Stephen Graham, tour de force. I mean, we talk about like the Oscars and that, and who's going to win Best Actor and all this, and it's like none of those performances were as good as Stephen Graham in this. To be quite honest with you, like he's a TV actor generally, and he does a lot of film and TV, but great performance in that. The second one I thought was very, very interesting, and interesting. I think Barry made the point a couple of weeks ago of like in the show that the police officers observe that the kids are just basically running wild and sit in the classroom and watch TV, and of course Keir Starmer's solution to this was to put Netflix into schools to make sure that kids can watch Adolescence, because not a lot of homes in the UK have Netflix, so it's good. You should sort it out.
Kids, finish your Adolescence, or there'll be no Rick and Morty. Come on now.
That was good. The third episode with Erin Doherty was fantastic. She's another brilliant actress. So I really enjoyed that. I did think the fourth one was the weakest of them all, because to me it felt the most like a more conventional kind of drama of that sort in the story it sort of tells within that episode. Whereas the other 3, I think you got a real insight into a different kind of world almost, whereas that one it was like a bit more sort of on the nose, but I still thought it was a good finish in terms of how it ended the run. So good show. I would not have watched if this was just on ITV. I probably wouldn't have bothered watching it, but because of the hype and around it, with Stephen Graham in it, there we go. It's definitely good. It's definitely good. Yeah, Adolescence.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, so that's finished that. But very much enjoyed. Films. I watched one film this week. I watched Bridget Jones 4. Right.
Which one is that?
Mad About the Boy, I believe it's called. I've actually seen all of these. I saw the last one in the cinema because that came out at the heyday of me having the cinema pass and going to see everything that came out.
This is the new one.
This is the new one. This is a 2025 release on, I believe, Peacock, if you were in the US, and theaters as well. I wasn't really expecting very much. I hadn't heard very much about this, despite the fact that, big franchise, beloved franchise. I hadn't really heard a peep about it.
The reviews are pretty good.
The reviews were good, and I must say I was very pleasantly surprised. I know I liked the previous films. Like, the first one's great, obviously. Second one, ho-hum. Third one, legacy sequel-y, a little bit. And I was very worried about that for this one, right? I mean, at one point she pulls out the big pants. She pulls out the big fucking pants. And I was like,
like orchestral music.
And all the portals come out, and all the pants from the other universes come out.
The sun and Okada's music are there. Just
yeah. There's a little bit of that, but I think the best thing you can say about it is that it really doesn't overtly feel like a tired legacy sequel, because they kind of do something a little bit different with it. Obviously, at this stage now, the character is like late 40s or possibly early 50s. I'm not certain. Has 2 kids that are like 10 and 11. Things have changed quite a lot. There's certain things that have changed in the 10 years between the 2 films that I won't spoil, because they're very much the premise of what's actually going on in the film. But it's quite thoughtful in a way I wasn't expecting. It's quite sincere in a way I wasn't expecting. And the previous ones are sincere, but it's more thoughtful is probably the word. It's a different type of film than what I was expecting. It's still obviously a little bit of a rom-com. I think my biggest criticism of it is that it wasn't especially hilarious. They do a lot of, you could probably picture a lot of the jokes in your head. Oh my God, isn't it hard being, like a single mom in your 40s, dating shit, online dating is shit, a lot of that stuff. And it's not offensive, but, a couple of chuckles here or there. It wasn't the funniest film I've ever seen, but I was really struck by how heartfelt and how kind of sincere it is. And it is genuinely, like in the last one, which I think came out in 2016 or something like that, so about a 10-year gap between 2 and 3. I mean, the last one, she goes to a music festival, and it's a lot of the same old stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's let's do Bridget Jones again, if I recall correctly. Whereas this one feels a little bit like they really, really tried to write that character in an interesting way for where she would be in her life right now. And I thought it was really well done. And I really enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it quite a lot. And I would heartily recommend it to anyone who enjoyed the previous films, but was perhaps put off by the prospect of, returning again to a franchise 10 years later, 4 entries deep, in this era that is the red flag of red flags. We're all tapped out on a lot of that stuff. I think it was actually worthwhile. So I was very pleasantly surprised with that. Zellweger, great. Hugh Grant, great. The returning characters are all great. The new characters are quite fun. Featuring my other criticism is that it's not especially hilarious. My other thing is the central kind of plot and kind of love triangle. You may see where it's going if you've ever watched a film before.
If you possess eyes.
You should have walked out, Barry. Should have walked out, and you could see where it was going.
Okay. So they've gone to the Bridget Jones world, and I think I know where it's going from here. But the new characters are a lot of fun. The kids are quite good. They're quite cute and they're quite funny. Chiwetel Ejiofor is a teacher. One of the kids, he's quite charming. And what's his face off The White Lotus is in it, the British fella, who from season 2. Who had the uncle, that chap, right. He's in it. Yeah, and he's a hunky young love interest, and he's quite good. He's quite funny. I've forgotten his name, but he's quite good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I want to see TikToks of people in the cinema watching Bridget Jones Mad About the Boy, and then when the big pants come out, everyone's all trying pants on the screen. Wow, pants. Cinemas start banning middle-aged women. No pants allowed.
No pants allowed. The police will be called. But yeah, thumbs up on that. Thumbs up on that.
Willie Jockey. Yeah, I'll throw there. I have not seen anything. I just haven't had time to do it. Joe,
I haven't seen anything new, but I did rewatch Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just really good.
A bloody good movie.
I did forget how much bollocks MacGuffin stuff there's like the whole thing about the alpha and the omega, and I've got to find the thing and the thing and the thing, and it's like you could have cut all of that. No one cares. It's just about Tom Cruise getting killed a bunch and then becoming a badass. That's all that mattered. It's like if in Groundhog Day they were like, listen, Bill Murray, what you've done is you've opened up the groundhog vortex, and what you need to do is you need to fall in love with a woman, but also learn to play the piano. Like, no, you don't need to know any of that. Just Tom Cruise, somehow he's waking up every day, and then at some point he's going to save the day. But it's really good. It's a really good film.
Really fun.
It is.
Is it his last? Is it Cruise's last good film?
The modern Mission Impossibles are class.
Mission Impossible 4.
Outside of Mission Impossible.
Well, he doesn't do much outside of Mission
Impossible. Very much, yeah. But I suppose to your point, I suppose you're probably right though, because he was in The Mummy, which was a big old.
Maybe that's why, because he just doesn't do anything other than Mission Impossible and Top Gun Maverick. That's all. Yeah,
because now he is kind of like he hasn't quite like fully pivoted to like actor, writer, director, but he's like a producer, and he's like so hands on with like the Mission Impossibles and stuff. He makes them his entire fucking life, So he's not like faffing around with fun little mid-tier budget things like this anymore.
It's a shame. He's a good actor.
He's great. Look,
maybe once, now that he's apparently done with the Mission Impossible, allegedly, maybe he'll go back to doing some.
Oh god, it's gonna be really sad in like 10 years' time when they put out one of those, the first one without him, and whoever it is, even if it's a good actor, but he's gonna be like, I'm not getting on the side of a plane. What are you talking about? I'm not doing that. It's stupid. CG, just computer me on it, there, pal. I'm not doing that. Then it'll just die. The franchise will just be dead.
Yeah, I mean that franchise does not necessarily live on its name value. It's entirely on Tom Cruise is gonna fly through the engine of a plane unscathed, but he actually did it.
Very much so, and. Yeah, I think it's more kind of quality and word of mouth on the last couple rather than the kids are all buzzing about the Mission Impossible franchise, I noticed on the reviews there, lads, nobody's watched Black Mirror. What's up with that?
Oh, I did. I forgot about that.
Oh, did you actually?
I watched the first two. The first one is with Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones, and it was kind of okay, but it felt very familiar. Like, could have just been any other episode from the last 6 seasons. It's just the same kind of theme, same kind of plot, same kind of whatever, Second one was better because it was a bit more bonkers. So I quite enjoyed the second one. But yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest.
I've never watched a single episode.
Oh, he's looking on the Black Mirror.
I'm one of those pridefully ignorant people. Actually, I've never watched a single episode. Don't you know?
Yeah, people try and make it about this whole thing of it got popular and it got too American. I don't know if that's necessarily the actual problem. It's just it's an anthology, which like a sketch show. It's just you're going to inherently have none of these have great hit rates. None of these anthologies have perfect hit rates because it's
just inside number 9. That's the only one.
Yeah, you know that's the exception that proves the rule. I don't think it's necessarily the guy because obviously it started off with Donald Gleason and Daniel Kaluuya, but before they were big. Do you know what I mean? When they were up and coming actors, and now it's John Hamm, and just a bunch of really big
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons, it is kind of like The Bear now, where it caught on. It caught on in the post Channel 4 Netflix era, and then The Bear, all the Yanks I have to be in this because it's a cool thing to be in.
So is Black Mirror worth watching? Is it worth watching?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It is. Okay.
I would say at the very least watch the first season, and are you intrigued by the dark comedic brookerness of it all?
Yeah.
Okay.
First few seasons. Yeah, I'd say there's still some really good ones later on. First few seasons.
So also I'm looking here, and also I forgot the first 2 seasons are 3 episodes each. So and again I think part of the show's problem is that they made a lot of their great points very early on. Kind of White Bear in season 2, you've got a lot of kind of sort of the general public needing a scapegoat, a person they can hate, and there's a lot of really good stuff in those first 2 seasons about phone culture, AI, a lot of AI stuff in those first 2 seasons. It's kind of okay, you made really good ones in the first 2 seasons. It's kind of how many more times can you do those? But certainly check out the first 2, I would say, which if I recall correctly, I think is it 2 or 3 were the original run, for lack of a better
first 2
term. Yeah, they were that was when it was kind of a little Channel 4 thing that hadn't quite escaped containment originally. Anyway, segueing out of that, we will talk on some video games. We were kind of running along last week. I didn't talk about South of Midnight. Have you played any of this, Paul?
No, I haven't.
No,
it's
it's a Game Pass thing, yeah. This is one of those things where they showed it during one of the Xbox Developer Direct things, and it gave me a big long trailer, and it looked really good. And then that was months ago, and then when the release week came out, it just kind of came out and no fanfare. It very much feels like they just plopped it out, and that was that. And it had about 6 hours of news cycle time, and everyone moved on. And the reviews were good enough, but not really amazing. If anyone doesn't remember, this is the deep South, a deep American South, folklore inspired action adventure game with kind of a stop motion-y kind of animation. When the character is in motion, it almost looks a little bit kind of like Spider-Verse, they're moving at a low frame rate type thing. It's very, very cool design. I really, really, really like it. I think it's incredibly stylish. I think it's a very intriguing fantasy world they've created. Again, you're kind of you're this you're deep kind of in the non-specific South of America, somewhere in a bayou. You're the child of a single mother who's also a social worker. A hurricane hits your small town. Her house gets swept away in a flash flood, and you're chasing her house down a river. And your character discovers some magic abilities that tie into the folklore of the local area. You platform. There's melee combat. There's puzzle solving. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge of action adventure. But I think the setting and the story are really the strength of it. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And I've heard it's also not too long as well. I think it's about like a 15-ish hour experience. It's really great. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been a whole lot of conversation about it. But again, I don't think Microsoft really gave it the big sell, unfortunately. Its release kind of came and went. But yeah, I'm very, very, very much enjoying it. That's all I've really been playing this week.
I just want to give a little Balatro update. Yes, I have still been playing Balatro this whole time. Currently at 97% progress.
Fucking hell.
I've got one challenge left, and I'm saving that to be the last thing I do. I've collected 96% of the Joker stickers, so that's 1,154 out of 1,200. So basically, you have to complete every gold difficulty, which is the highest.
With every Joker.
With every single Joker, yeah. So I've got 9 Jokers left to complete gold run with. So I'm making the vow now that by the end of April, I'm going to complete Balatro. If I haven't, I'm going to stop playing. So come what may, I'm going to finish Balatro in April. So I'll give you an update next week. See how we go. Maybe I'll have done it by next week.
We believe in you. We believe in you.
Is it still like enjoyable this deep in?
Yeah.
It is. It's a good game.
I am sick of it. I do want to stop playing now, but I just want to finish it. So if I stop playing, then I'll never finish. I'll never get the 100%. So I'm going to keep plowing through and get it over with. But yeah, it's a great game. Hopefully by the time I finish, though, I don't know, release an update or something, or a new one.
Balatro. Maybe
Balatro Unlimited.
Yeah,
makes me think of Joe's early days playing Balatro, trying to figure out the multipliers and
great. Probably still learning how to play
it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've got 1,000 Jokers on gold difficulty, you're probably doing all right.
You're probably doing all right. But I suppose you never truly master Balatro. That's the thing. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show, folks. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back next week with WrestleMania preview, folks. Get excited. Next week.
When I saw that pop up on Netflix, I think that the younger fan of me was like, "Oh, WrestleMania on Netflix." Obviously, I'm not going to watch it, but I still got a little bit excited that it was just available. Like, oh.
Next time we speak, I will have seen night 1. So I'll review night 1 of WrestleMania and we'll preview.
Oh, yeah. I forgot it's talking to later. WrestleMania season 41, according to the Netflix socials.
Wow.
Yes, we'll have that. We'll have a Last of Us semi-review of that first episode and follow-ups on various games, Dark Side of the Ring, stuff like that. Thanks very much for listening, folks. ChairShotPodcast.com if you want to email. It's also where you can go check the Fantasy League standings. Not only the league standings, but also the teams, the free agents and stuff like that. Paul does a great job keeping up with that spreadsheet.
I'll tell you where else you can go. There's a new place you can go.
Go on.
I'm just going to double check the URL very quickly here. Because it's long lay dormant. But if you go to youtube.com/ChairShot Podcast, I'm going to start uploading the episodes to YouTube again. I don't know if people listen to podcasts through YouTube. It feels like some people do.
I definitely do.
Yeah, I'm going to start. No, it's just going to be the audio with the artwork on top of it. It's not going to be anything special. But I'm going to throw the episodes up there. So if you do use YouTube for such things, the episodes will be back up there again.
Yeah, I there's like various podcasts that I like, but I don't listen to weekly, so I don't subscribe to them because I like. The app will download them and then I won't listen to that week and I'll delete them. And I was like, I'm just going to stop doing this and just, if they have a YouTube channel, I'm going to go listen to that show this week. Oh, there it is. There's the episode. People absolutely do that.
Yeah. I'll start throwing them up there.
So there you go. Thanks very much for everything there. Sorry, the pot is laughing at the cover. Sorry, listeners. Listen, you're looking at the artwork, so you're enjoying it already. So you don't need me to fucking explain.
You laughed a while ago.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Anyway. WrestleMania main event for Rod Flanders. Anyway, we will be back next week, folks. Thanks very much for listening. Goodbye from me, Barry. Goodbye from Joe.
Goodbye.
My fault.
Right.